Hello everyone. So in this video today I wanted to discuss the sensation of touch and fit and finish when we're discussing our pocket knives. And because I know so little about them, I decided I would go with our traditionals to talk about it, because I have a couple examples here that kind of show a range of fit and finish issues and how they tie into our overall experience of handling and working with our pocket knives. And so I wanted to start with overall build quality. You know, some companies are of course known for their overall build quality, and you know, for example, here we're looking at a Boker. One of the things you can see here is that the back of the spine is pretty flush, and although I can feel slightly some sensation as well as on the bolsters, they're pretty well smoothed out. The pins are set in pretty well and not too proud, not bulging out too much. There is a decent half stop here and a decent snap close, and that's on both of the blades. The finishing on the blades, you can see, isn't perfect, as you can see some casting lines here, or whatever they are. I don't even know what they are. Maybe not casting lines, but cutting lines. And so you can see that while it's a very beautiful knife, there are not, it's not perfect. But then we can jump over to this guy, and this Puma, well, it's got incredibly nice wood. There's some cracks in it. The bezel thingy here is rough on the edges. You can also see that the blade is almost encountering the scale, if not encountering it. And if you saw my other videos earlier when I went over this knife, you can see it's kind of got a mushy half stop, and the back blade is blocked by the first blade. So if I want to open the second blade, I actually have to open the first blade, which is kind of dangerous. Going back to another Boker, and most of the really nice slip joints I have are Bokers, so you're going to see that a lot. I do have a handmade and things like that, but I'm not throwing those in this video. This being a hawkbill, one of the points I wanted to illustrate here is the smoothness at which the blade meets up with the spring. It's incredibly well done. I cannot feel much of anything between the spines. The scales match up really nice with the bolsters. The pins are flush. And you can tell it's been even smoothed down and ground on the inside of the liner. I'm not even sure of the terminology. But again, no half stop at all. All right. Moving to a different Boker, and here I'm going to be able to compare two knives of the same type, which I'm not even going to try to tell you the names of the knives, because doing so will just embarrass me. And so there's one of them, and here's the other one, and notice the half stop there. Nice little half stop, nice and solid. Okay, you notice the lack of a decent half stop here. Very mushy. Nothing there. It's very stiff as well. Potentially a little bit dangerous. There'll be some other issues I want to point out here in a minute. But the half stop is a definite feature that is really nice, especially when you're going to open up the knife like I am and have all the blades out. So, looking at the finish on the blades, you can also see how these have been, better polished. Well, this is more of a ground satin look on the blades. The amount of rise in the back spring, you can tell here that these springs are pretty well featured. I'm not getting that one. There you go. Pretty well featured. And over here, you can see that these have dramatic rise, meaning that the grind, I think, on the rounded part is not as good, I guess. You can look inside there to the springs. Okay, let's look inside here to these springs. Oh, well, you can actually see some quality issues or differences there. We have steel liners here, it looks like, as opposed to brass liners. They are brushed, but I think that's to get the blades not to rub. All right, now closing these, I'll be able to point out some of the other issues. Wow, it's just how well it snaps closed there. The blades all fit very, very nicely into each other. Let's look at this one. All right, close those, close these. And while they fit nicely into each other, it looks like they could rub slightly. Okay, going over here, you can see where the scale doesn't quite match the bolster. Not terrible, but it's notable. And coming up on this one, you can see how the bolster's actually, kind of hard to tell, but it's actually rounded down and matches up with the wood quite nicely. The brass again, you see that, the inlay. And it's just very flush and smooth. And so there's just a qualitative difference between, you know, this one by Boker and this one by Imperial. Now, nothing wrong with the Imperial one in terms of being a knife. It's actually a pretty good knife. Good, you know, it cuts well, does what a knife's supposed to do. But the naturally more expensive Boker is going to be a little bit higher quality. Not to say that Imperial makes, or Schrade make, bad ones. This Schrade here, this Walden, has an excellent half stop. It's pretty good. The blades are accessible. You can actually get into this one. The fit and finish is really nice back here on the back. The bolsters are smoothed in. Now the wood has some wear. I think that's probably more handling rather than construction. The inlay of the shield is pretty good, nice and smooth. The blades are pretty well centered. They don't brush the liners. The liners are brass. And so again, here we have a Schrade, which is the same company as Imperial, different time period. And we all probably know all about that time period thing and the Schrades being all different owners and all that stuff. But this particular one actually has pretty nice features. It's pretty smooth. There's a little bit of some finishing issues right there I can feel. And I wanted to point out that you don't have to go, you know, real expensive on a pocket knife to get good fit and finish. Here we have a buck, and probably one of the smallest bucks I've ever seen. But the fit and finish on this thing is amazingly good. The bolsters are perfect. I can't feel anything there. The blades do not have a half stop. That's worth noting. Blades are good quality. They meet up very well back there at the back edge. And there we go. It's a steel liner. Hopefully you can see that. The wood is well treated. There's no real cracking or anything like that. The pins are smooth and even rounded in this case, as you can hopefully see right there. How that's been rounded to match the wood. Really a very nice knife, and I think it was like $5. Really inexpensive, maybe 10 somewhere. So just to keep in mind that you don't have to spend a whole lot of money to get good fit and finish. And different companies have produced excellent fit and finish at different times. So I guess to wrap this up, my main point is that you can have a wide variety of fit and finish, and our sense of touch is probably one of the best ways to go at trying to figure out if we like the fit and finish on an object like a knife, in that we can feel and sense all the little flaws that occur in the manufacture, the assembly, the fit, if you will, and finish of it. I appreciate you watching. I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful day, evening, morning, whenever you watch this. This has been Patrick. Bye.